Ok, clase, buenos días. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre adjetivos. Most of your list is all about adjectives because we're talking about describing ourselves and others. So adjectives in English are different than adjectives in Spanish. In Spanish, those adjectives are a little bit trickier. Okay, so we're going to talk about adjectives today because they've got rules and we need to get those rules down because most of the time, the biggest mistake that we make when speaking Spanish is actually with these adjectives, all right? And it's really easy to do so because it's so not like what we have in English, all right? So go ahead and pull out your notes, either electronically or if you printed out a paper copy. Let's go ahead and pull those out, and we're going to take notes on adjectives today, okay? Adjetivos. Apuntes. Here are our notes, right? And let's start looking at our biggest rule for adjectives. All right, our biggest rule for adjectives is actually in bold here. Adjectives must agree in number and gender with the noun that they describe. They have to agree with number and gender with the noun that they describe. So it means that we have to describe girl nouns with girl adjectives. We have to describe male nouns with male adjectives. And then if we have groups of people, we have to make sure that that adjective is also plural, right? In this chapter, we're really going to focus on the gender of our adjectives, but we're going to kind of get our feet wet with the number as well, all right? So let's look at our other kind of an explanation of these rules, but this is our main rule. So in Spanish, most adjectives have a masculine form and a feminine form, which is why your vocab list looks weird when it has some adjectives with the O and then an A right beside it, right? It's because that adjective has a masculine form with the O and then the feminine form with the A, all right? So the masculine form ends in an O, okay? Usually ends in an O, and the feminine form usually ends in the letter A. And masculine adjectives are used to describe masculine nouns, okay? So we have to make sure that they match in gender, okay? Masculine, masculine, okay? And feminine adjectives are used to describe feminine nouns. But let's look at an example of the masculine. Marco, this is a boy, masculino, es ordenado, masculino, simpático, masculino. Okay, so he's a guy. So our adjectives, ordenado, simpático. Right? Feminine adjectives are used to describe feminine nouns. All right, so Marta, femenina, she's a girl, es ordenada y simpática. We have the same adjectives, but we're using the feminine form of both of them because she's a girl. You actually have already done this before. When we first started learning greetings and introductory conversation, you guys said, I said, oh, well, if you're a guy, you're gonna say, after they say mucho gusto, you're gonna say encantado, like nice to meet you, okay? And if you're a girl, you're gonna say what? Ajá, encantada, all right, because you're a girl. And you use it all the time in my class because, ¿cómo estás? And you say, oh, cansada, if you're a girl, because the A at the end, and cansado if you're a guy, all right? Those are adjectives, and so we're doing that again, okay? All right, let's look at the next part of our nouns because not all adjectives have a masculine and a feminine form. Maybe you've noticed that some of our adjectives on our vocab sheet end in E, okay? So adjectives that end in E describe both the masculine and the feminine, okay? They don't have an O or an A ending. They just have the E ending, so they can describe both masculine and feminine. Ejemplos son, Anito es inteligente, Pedro es inteligente, okay? She's a girl, femenina, masculino, same adjective because the E can be used for either, right? Adjectives whose masculine form ends in dored have a feminine form that ends in dora, right? So you would add that A. So Juan es trabajador, he is hardworking. Luz is a girl's name, okay? Es trabajadora, all right? Because she's a girl, we're gonna add that A there. Some adjectives, let's go down to our next part of our notes. Some adjectives end in A, and that is the only form that they have. So some adjectives are exceptions to the rules, and we only have one exception to the rule on our vocab list, and that's deportista. Deportista ends in an A, all right? We'll put a star by that. Ends in an A, but there's no deportisto, all right? It's deportista for both guys and for girls, all right? Deportista for both guys and girls. So Tomás, even though he's a guy, masculino, deportista. Marta, femenina, deportista también. All right? So deportista does not have a masculine form. It's the same for both. All right? Let's look at some practice. We're going to practice describing some people. So on the back of your notes, we're going to practice describing some people, and we're going to fill in the rest of the sentence. Okay, so it says, ¿Cómo es? What are they like? ¿Cómo es? Okay? Enrique es, let's do this first one together. Enrique is, okay, and we have a guy playing the piano. So let's think through an adjective that would be fit for Enrique. Sí. Enrique es talentoso. Because he's a guy, talentoso. Okay? Enrique is a guy, so talentoso. Enrique is talented. Muy bien. Número dos. Let's do this one together. Ramona, a girl, Ramona, es... ¿Cuál es un adjetivo? ¿Cómo es Ramona? Sí, Ramona es artística. With that A, okay, because she's a girl. Artística, okay? You go ahead and try adding those adjectives to the ends of our sentences for the next few. Go ahead and push pause, try that on your own, then push play when you're ready to go over the answers. Okay, Marisol is a girl, okay, es, sí, desordenada, because she's a girl, desordenada. Paloma, another girl, es, ajá, muy bien, estudiosa. Ajá, muy bien. Okay, let's try this next one. This one's tricky. We have two people, Lisa y Ana son. Lisa and Ana are, okay, sports-minded. Ajá, deportista is our adjective that we know, but I said before that adjectives agree in number, two people, and gender, all right? So let's talk about that number part. The number part is super easy, and maybe you took a leap of faith on this one, and if you didn't, that's fine, okay? In order to make it plural, because we have two people, we just add an S, okay? Deportistas. All right, that's how we make that plural. So if we're describing more than one person, we're just going to add that S onto our adjective, okay? Because it has to match a number as well as gender, okay? So let's look, número 6. So go ahead and fix your number 6 if you didn't do that plural part. All right? Carlos y Juan son graciosos. Okay, because we have 2 people. Graciosos. We could also put our other word for funny. Chistosos. We add our S because we have more than one person. Okay? Número 7. Fernando es, muy bien, atlético. Atlético, because it's a guy. Don't forget your accent here. And also, athletic in Spanish does not have an H. Atlético. Muy bien. Fernando is a guy, and our adjective matches. All right? You're going to be practicing this more today with some other activities for today and tomorrow, so that we make sure that we start to get these adjectives correctly. Because what's our rule? It's different than in English. Adjectives must agree in what 2 ways? You're right. Number and gender. Okay? Adios.